Hello, everyone. I have been MIA on here. The last time I posted was literally in July. If you have followed anything along my social media or anything like that, my work life slash life in general has changed dramatically in the last, I would say in August, it really started to change. And then in September, like totally different, um, just major changes in my life, in my work, in my boutique, in my businesses, how I operate in my home life. I just moved into a new house. So I am going to update you on all of that stuff. And I'll do an update. Um, Let me just give a quick rundown of everything that's going on in my life right now. And then in the next episode, I will probably share what I want to share as far as business. Okay, so in August of last year. Actually rewind to like before I started my business 5 years ago. So I started my clothing boutique, right? I've always wanted to start open businesses and then sell them eventually, right? So that's like a career people make out of it. You start them, you do that exciting part, make money, prove you make some money, and then sell them and start something different that maybe you've always wanted to do. So that's kind of something I've always wanted to do. I started my clothing boutique because clothing is a very easy industry to get into. There's very low barriers to entry. You basically need a credit card and a Google search, and you can open a boutique with lots of mistakes. So I wish I would have had someone to teach me a lot more than I had to learn on my own, but it's pretty easy to start a clothing boutique, honestly. So I was like, clothing is, why not? Why not start clothing? I'll learn so much through this. It's pretty easy. It seems easy. The city I was in, there's a lot of other reasons why I chose it, and I've done tons of podcasts and like recordings on that, but it's a pretty easy business to get into, just to say the least. So opened it up, got into it, quickly realized it's a very easy business to get into, but it's not necessarily an easy business to be successful in, or it's a Red Sea, how people call it. If Red Sea versus Blue Sea, Red Ocean versus Blue Ocean, it is very hard. Everyone is fighting for space in the ocean, and there's lots of blood, which makes it the Red Sea. There's a lot of competition. So it was hard, and I quickly realized that. But obviously I had signed my life away to leases, and there was no giving up. Mainly because of the leases, but also because, well, that was what kept me in it. I knew, because I had started online before and I kind of half-assed it, and I knew that if I signed the lease, that I would be forced and stuck to do it. So got caught up in leases, and then obviously, like, it's your passion, all your money goes to it. It's a fun industry, really is. So I started figuring out that, right? And whatever, that's a whole other podcast, just my business journey with boutique. So I wanted to open and sell them. That's where we came to. That's where we started the story. So about 3 years in, I got married, moved to a different city, and ran my boutique remotely. I had a manager for about a year. Ran my boutique remotely like that for about a year, and after that, I just realized my brick and mortar was doing so well that I knew if like the owner was there present in a brick and mortar, the store can do so much better, right? It's I'm not a huge business, huge corporation. So as a small business, as the owner, you have to be there, you have to be present in order for it to flourish and really be successful. Which I knew this store had the potential to be, because I had shown signs of it, and I grew it from like, I think my first year was like 100K in 6 months, and then my next year was like 300K, and then after that it went up to like 800K. So it had shown signs of, with a little more TLC, time, living, commitment, care, it could have done extremely well, or can still do, right? Because we're still on the path to like grow it and work on it. But that's where I was thinking. So I'm like, well, I can sell this. I can sell this business, make whatever amount of money I want to make, and then move on, open another one. and I'll do that. So I dove deep into the selling train. How do I evaluate my business? Who can help me? What's a broker? All this stuff. I came on to realize like I was going to do it on my own, be my own broker, present this offer to different people that I personally knew. I reached out to a few different people. I never like announced it big, and I had a few people interested. And then I asked my manager if she wanted to buy it. So my manager, Ale, has been with me for a few years after COVID, and like really just ran the business while I was gone. The day-to-day, like the brick and mortar stuff. So I knew she always wanted to open one. So I'm thinking, why not offer it to her? The customers know her. It would be an easy transition. She wants one anyways. This way you skip the step of finding customers, which is very, very, very hard, and brand awareness, right? People already know the brand. There's a lease. It's all set up and done for her. She just has to come in, keep it running. So I offered it to Ale, and obviously she was my first choice. She eventually said yes, and I had to let the other people know that I was going to select her to buy the business because she had helped me for so long, right? I know how she works. I was going to finance it for her. Or I ended up financing it for her. So we figured something out, whatever, she was going to buy it, pay me off in X amount of months or years. So I still had a tie to the business. So this is happening like August of this past year. Well, the whole talk about it was a few months, and then setting up like the lawyers, the paperwork, all that was like a month, and then it kind of took time. So September of 2022, August, I decided to sell it, and I had a second location in Scottsdale. So I have El Paso and Scottsdale. Scottsdale, I'm closing. Because at this time that I'm talking about in the past, because I realized I just didn't want to do it anymore. I did not want to show up to a retail store and be stuck to it and not be able to go out of town. Even if I had a manager, I, still had to be around in case they couldn't come in, stuff like that. I just did not want to do that part of the business anymore. So I closed that. I miss it all the time, but it's okay. So I closed that, and then I sold the El Paso in the online store to Ale, or started to sell to Ale. And I was going to sell 100% to her. So she was going to take everything over, whatever, XYZ. So this was in August. So after like a few weeks of starting to transfer everything over to Ale, we kind of decided, both of us, that it would be better to go into a partnership. So I kind of became a silent partner in the business, and we came to the agreement that she was going to run the entire thing. Half is hers. She makes half of the profits. She does all the fun stuff. She does all the buying, but she also does all of the employee hiring. And if they call in and staffing and all that, she also takes care of that. So I'm kind of just, there as an advisor, a silent investor. If she needs me, I'll step in. I'm right there with her. If I see something going wrong, I'll help her with it. She needs advice. She needs help. She needs whatever it is, I'm there and available. So that's kind of where we left off, and that's kind of how our business is running right now. So I stepped into a silent investor role, which was really cool because now I'm just like stepped back. I did all that work for X amount of years, hustled and grinded, and now I can still be a part of it, but I stepped back and I gave someone else the opportunity to, have fun, run it, and make some money off of it. So that was really cool. I mean, it's been really cool to see that you can really do whatever you want. Like, you can sell half of your business and make money off of it. It just depends. Obviously, if it works for you, the other person, whoever is involved in the scenario and how you set it up, and you have to trust them, right? Partnerships can be scary, but you can really operate out of however you want, really. There's no right way to do business. And it was really cool for me to get into that role, because I would look for podcasts, I would look for books, anything about how to do XYZ. And there's so many things on, like, there's a lot of information, but I had to come to my own realization that you can really do whatever you want. Obviously, you have to do legal and all that stuff, but however you want to operate things, run them, close them, open them, sell them, whatever you want to do, you can do it. So yeah, that part is I stepped aside. So I now have way more time to do things, right? I now have time to think of starting another business or getting a job. And I did. I brought that up to my husband. I'm like, I'm going to apply at Louis Vuitton. I found this really cool job at Louis Vuitton, and they were paying like $200K a year for you're like making employee manuals or something like systems. And I was like, I do that all the time. Like I made my employee manuals up. I do trainings. I do that in my business for the last 4 years with no one helping me, no books on it. Like I just figured it out. I'm like, this is perfect for me. Like this sounds great. Louis Vuitton seems like an amazing company to work for. I just show up to work, I get paid, and I'm down. I'm gonna apply for this. So I told my husband, and he's like, absolutely not. Like, do not apply. You're not a 9 to 5 girl. He's like, you're just gonna hate it. Like, you're gonna quit in X months, and it's. I just don't. He was talked me out of it. So I was like, okay, well, talk me out of that one. Now I'm gonna start 5 other businesses over here. So he didn't do that. Then I found a tattoo course, tattoo training. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna take this tattoo training in Phoenix where I live. I'm like, how cool is this? And it's just cool to see how like you take steps and like things can happen out of something you never know. But the story will make sense at the end. So tattoo course happened in September. Took that, kind of thought I would love tattooing. Started doing it for a few months, and it's actually really fun. I don't do it right now because honestly the last 2 months have been insane, but I will go back to it eventually. Not full time, but just for fun. But I did that, and through that I started to practice that, blew up in El Paso because I have a very strong personal brand and my following is in El Paso, Texas. I had some in Phoenix, but immediately when I posted that, my tattoo page and DMs and inquiries on appointments, bookings blew up so fast. I would post that I was coming to El Paso to tattoo for 3 days, and my bookings would fill up in 30 minutes. Like the insane. These people don't even know if I can do tattoos, right? I literally learned a month ago, but they're like, I want a tattoo from you. So I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This can be something that I do. So I did that, and obviously did this in El Paso. No one is teaching tattooing that I know of. Maybe they are, but not many people tattooing fine line in El Paso at the moment. So I have this brilliant idea, make really good friends with my tattoo instructor. And I'm like, hey, her name is Brittany. Now we're really good friends. She's not my instructor anymore, but I'm like, can I bring you down to El Paso and I'll fill up your class? Obviously I'll make a percentage off of it, but fill up your class, organize it, and you come teach tattooing down there because people were asking me about it. She's like, absolutely, let's do it. So we go down there, teach the class. I make quite a bit of cash from that in November just by, I like to say it's like because of the personal brand that I had. So which goes to show how like important it was for me to have that personal brand outside of my boutique business for the last 4 years. So I had my boutique Instagram, website, all that stuff. And then I had my personal one as well that I always cultivated and worked on. And that allowed me to sell out this class for Brittany and obviously for myself. So I'm like, wow, I kind of thought, I already had this kind of consulting idea, and I mentor some people as far as like how they want to start businesses, right? So Can You Agency. So that's an agency I've started that I love to mentor, and I'm adding different things as I learn them. So I'm adding course sales. So like Brittany, you want to fill up your tattoo class and you don't want to do anything. Obviously in El Paso, that's my strength. Right now, eventually, hopefully it will grow, but you can come to me and I will now sell your course through my business, make a commission off of it, and help you fill up your classes, perfect it, organize it, plan where it's going to be at, the logistics of it all. I kind of added that service into that through this tattoo journey in the beginning, right? Which never would have known that I could offer a course in training and sales creation and all that. So that's one thing on So Can You Agency that I was able to add. And then I'm like, well, this is cool. Like now I know tattooing is a big industry that can be done in El Paso. So my brain starts to run, should I open a tattoo shop? I mean, like a high-end tattoo shop, stuff like that. In El Paso, I don't even live in El Paso. Okay, my husband is like, you need to stop opening businesses there. And my defense is like, why? I don't need to live there. Someone can run it, and I live over here. So, and a business like tattoo kind of runs itself. I mean, this is also a whole other podcast, but well, kind of if you do rentals, but yeah, that's a whole other topic. So, okay, where am I? I'm now in the idea stage of tattoo shop, right? This is like November-ish. So I'm researching licensing and deep in that. And at this point, I have 2 leases in my name for my boutique in El Paso. I have the lease Onyx Sundays currently at, and then I have another lease. So whatever, long story short, I have tried to open tattoo shops at both locations. None of the landlords are letting me. So I kind of am like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'll just help people learn how to do tattooing in El Paso. Eventually, maybe the tattoo shop thing will come back. And we'll figure it out when it comes, right? So, and my So Can You agency is kind of growing. I'm consulting more people, I'm mentoring more. So I'm like, okay, let me focus more on the agency and, the other little fun passion projects that I have. So that's kind of the stage I'm at 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago. So I have these girls taking these classes, and so in El Paso, and I'm planning classes, and I'm planning different people to bring down and teach classes on different things that we don't necessarily have in El Paso yet, or I don't feel that are being done well. So I'm planning all this, and these girls that are taking these classes, getting these certifications, are asking me, where do I work? Where can I work? I need to rent a spot for a day. I need to rent a spot for a week. I have clients, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to go to a studio because there's no license, lots of reasons, right? You need a tattoo studio license to do tattoos on people. So I'm like, man, I'm missing out on this market that's happening right before my eyes. And I want to do something. I want to act on it. But I had already tried it in 2 different places. I had tried the studio, and it just wasn't working. So I reached out to a friend who I know has properties and stuff. And I'm like, hey, here's this business idea. Pretty much here's this business idea. Take it, run with it. You can make money. I have people who will rent beds from you already. I'm planning courses over the next few months. I'll rent it to teach these courses there. And I'm sure you can have courses as well. She's also in the beauty industry. So she's like, yeah, absolutely. Let me talk to whoever she had to talk to for the locations and the leases and stuff. And in 2 days, she's like, it's a go. Do you want to be my partner for this? Let's do it. Let's open this thing and we'll partner up. I'll run it. I work here. I'll look over it. I live in El Paso. You have the plan. Let's do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's figure this out. Run with it. So that was last week. We're now in the process of painting the place, building it out. And it's going to be super exciting because now we have an amazing, cute tattoo shop. This is the furthest it's gone. Obviously, I've tried this 2 other times in the last 2 months and it failed or did not go all the way to the end. So I'm not going to say it can happen because things go down. Not everything goes as planned as you want it. Sometimes we have plans, but we cannot control everything. At the end, God's in control, is my thing. So he obviously didn't want that to happen in those other 2 spots, but this one so far has been good. It's been going. Hopefully in the next month or 2, we will be up and operating as a beautiful high-end fine line tattoo shop and adding things as we go, which we're really, really excited for. But that's where that part of the business is going. So through all this, right, I've built basically this tattoo shop in El Paso has built off of my personal brand. So I'm through So Can You agency, which is my other business. I'm I can offer, help people with their courses, help them sell out their courses. And I'm now offering personal branding, and I'm actually starting to host events in El Paso. So I'm doing a personal branding workshop at the end of the month in February 18th in El Paso, Texas, to kind of help people hone in on their personal brand. So, and realize that it's not just like, oh, how annoying that girl posts about her coffee all day. Like, it's so much more than you posting about your day. If you have a business or you have some sort of business you want to tie into it, right? If it is just about your coffee, I mean, that's fine. People make money off of that too. But mine is more geared towards, I want to eventually have something out of this. I want to speak on stages. So we need to be a little more strategic in the way we show up on our personal brand and have a plan for how you show up, right? So that is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm planning these events. I have super great ideas for these events that I have. Right now, I'm going to have them in El Paso. Some are online. And then eventually, obviously, I live in Phoenix. I would love to expand into Phoenix. But I'm starting in a place that I'm comfortable with and that I know people will jump on these things. I've already had signups for that class. So that is obviously a plug. If you want to sign up for that class, send me a DM on Instagram. You can email me. I'll also have a link in the show notes on where to purchase your ticket. But that's kind of where my entire thing is right now. That's what I'm doing. These are my jobs. That's why I make money right now, is I'm a partner in the boutique. I make a percentage off of that each month, and then I sell these courses for people and I make a percentage off of that. And I'm not making any money off the tattoo thing yet, but those are investments. I'm investing into that business and eventually it will come back to me. What else am I making money off of? Those are the main three things. I tore my car just so I could pay my car payment. I honestly don't make much money off of that, but I just don't want to pay my own car. So I rent it out a few times a month and it pays my car. I do that. What else? Those are the main three things that I do. And then I consult and I mentor people. So I do that. I make some of that every month. So if you need some mentorship on your business, need help starting up, I can help. Literally, we can get your sales tax ID together. We can set up your bookkeeping. We can set up your Shopify website, find a product. We can find a lease for you, open a brick and mortar, decorate your store, merchandise your store, whatever it is, your salon, add retail into your salon, how to make more money in your business. So many things that I can help with. Just shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, and we can chat about it. But anyways, that was a mouthful. If you made it to the end, thank you. I know that was a lot. And I just wanted to update on everything that's going on because it probably seems like I'm throwing things at the wall and then I quit, like the tattooing, but it's not necessarily like that. There is stuff going on behind the scenes with all the things that I've learned in the last 5 months that I never knew I would be part of, or industries I would be part of. And it's really, really exciting. So make sure you subscribe to my podcast. There'll be a rebrand coming very soon. Obviously, this podcast was connected to the boutique, but I will now change it into something more, Erica, and share lots of business tips. Anything you want to hear from me, send me a DM. And I would love to share about that on the next podcast. So thanks again, guys. Talk to you soon.